Hi guys, it's Chris at Cork and Crown, back in my cider shed with some more cider to try. And it's quite a special cider. I was in Spain last week. I was actually in the southwest, which is not a cider region at all. The northeast is kind of the cider region. Basque, Asturias, that kind of thing. But I did manage to find one bottle of cider. And here it is. And it is in fact Basque. Cider natural. This is from a producer called Urbitarte, and it says Sagadotegia. I can't speak Spanish, you can probably tell. Sagadotegia, which I think is like a cider house. So in Basque, the name of this stuff is, I think it's like, like Sadradro or something like that. I'll put it on the screen, which basically translates in Basque as apple wine, so like German Apfelwein, that's what they kind of call it. Long history of cider making in that part of the world. Goes back certainly 1,000 years plus. They used to take it on the ships when they went out fishing because it was hygienic, because water was not necessarily the cleanest thing, but booze was hygienic because it had alcohol in it, so it was clean. So it's something they've had for a long, long time, along with Asturias, the neighbouring sort of like province, if you like, part. Is it called a province? I don't know. I need to learn more about Spain. I had a fantastic time there, I have to say. This is, what is this? It's 566 of, I don't know how many bottles. I think it's about 1,000 bottles. I think it was 1,000 bottles produced. This is number 566. It is 6.5% vol, written in Biro, which I love. I love Biro on me ciders. Yeah. So let's open it. The other thing they do in Asturias and in Basque is, well, in Asturias they call it throwing. So they get the bottle and they hold it up high like this, and they pour it into the glass, which they hold down by the waist. It's like about 3 foot gap it's meant to be. It's quite hard to do. I've tried it once, made a total mess. They call it throwing. In Basque they call it catching, because traditionally what they do is they open, well, not traditionally, it's quite a recent thing, last 40, 50 years. They'd open the taps on the big barrels, this thing would shoot out, and they'd stand in a line and catch it in the glass. So in Asturias they call it throwing cider, and in Basque it's catching the cider. But it's basically the same principle. So what I've got is one of these. So I'm going to catch some cider in my glass with this pourer. I've also got another glass so I can try it unthrown, uncorked if you like, to see if there is a difference, which I think there will be. Right, so let's open it. It's going to have some cheese with it. I bought some cheese back as well, some manchego, which isn't quite right. I think if you're in that part of Spain you want kind of like northwest, probably you want like Adiethabal, which is like a smoky version of a manchego if you like, or an osso irati, which is French Basque. Let's get this top off and see what we got. I'll get this top off. Come on, you. Bear with me. Come on, come off top. Top is off. Now this is a still cider. Made, I think there's 24 varietals you can use. There's a lot more than that. But to make proper Basque cider, there's 24 varietals. I think there's 5 different varietals in this, the names of which you can't remember. If I can be bothered, I'll put them on the screen. But I might not be bothered. So let's get this cork out. Pop. Cork is out. There you go. So first off, I'm going to pour some into this glass. They're a different shape. There's a bit of a shape because the shape of the glass, I mean, it sounds poncy, but the shape of the glass can make a difference. So there, that was just being poured out as is. And this one is going to be thrown. So what I'm going to do, I will throw this one, catch it, whatever you want to call it, then taste this one first, and then try this one, see what the difference is. So first off though, let's have a look at the colour. So lovely, quite light colour, sort of almost like a, well, it's got a limey, it's like lime greeny gold colour to that. Obviously unfiltered, it's hazy, it's aged in oak, it's wild yeast. Basically there's nothing added to this at all. It's this is a natural wine if you like. So there you go. So let's try this one first, and then we'll try it thrown. So nose, you can smell that acidity, absolutely. It's quite nice, maybe mouthwater, but there's a sweetness to it. I mean, you can't smell sweet, but there's definitely like not so much a funk. There's something in there, something underlying, something almost slightly savoury about it. It smells wonderful actually. It smells rich, deep, beautiful acidity. It does smell appley, it does smell acid, but it doesn't smell it doesn't smell brutally malic. There's a softness to it, I want to say. Smells great. I really like the nose. There might be a hint of cheese about it. Just a hint. Right, let's try it. Yeah. Loads of acidity. There's almost an earthy quality to it, skin-like quality, a sweaty quality. Not so much as you get in like the English ciders, certainly Somerset ciders, which I actually want to try throwing in a quite acid Somerset cider. See what happens to that, because I think it'll have the same effect. Something to do with volatile acidity. It hits the glass. Something to do with volatile acidity. I don't know exactly what. I'm going to look into it a lot more. It is quite acid. It feels like it should be had with food, but they absolutely do have this stuff with food. They really do. It's designed to be had with food. No question. It's a cheese, sausage, things that have in that region. It's a very slight spritziness to it as well. Okay, so now we've done that, let's try this. So I'm going to stand up to do it. I'm pretty pleased with that. That didn't go as badly as I thought. So let's try this. Oh man, very different nose. Yeah, that acidity is diminished massively. And that kind of slightly savoury, cheesy aspect has come to the fore, but I like. That's shocking, actually. There's hints of that acidity in there still, but it's just opened up. It's just opened up enormously. You know, the acidity's diminished to some degree. That savouriness has come to the fore more. Let's taste it. I think the spritz is more obvious. That savoury character is much more obvious. It does make a difference, and I prefer this one to this one. I prefer this one to this one. Now I don't see why, if you got something quite like an acid, a more acid kind of like traditional Somerset cider, it wouldn't have the same. It would not have the same effect if you did it. I think it would. It'd be quite interesting to get something like, what should we get? Like the vintage from Bridge Farm or something like that. That'd be cool. Try throwing that and see what the difference is. That'd be a really interesting experiment. That has opened my eyes. I thought it was a gimmick. It actually isn't. It actually isn't. It's obviously different. It's still quite acid, but it's certainly softer, rounder, and actually pretty darn delicious. I really want. I wish I could have found that cheese I brought back to have with it, because that'd be great. Like spicy, like chorizo and stuff like that as well. It'd be amazing. I think you could have it like seafood as well. It'd be amazing because of the acidity. Yeah, Spanish cider, really interesting. I think it's something I'd like to get hold of and sell. I really do. There's such a culture of it, such a history of it in that part of the world. I think I'm missing out by not having it. You know, I really do think I'm missing out. I need to get some French stuff back in as well. Templars. I need to get in touch with Templars as well, because they do some damn good stuff, and I love Keith cider. On that note, I'm visiting a cider maker in Kent who grows bitter sweets and bitter sharps, traditional cider apples, and Keith's. Next week, I look forward to trying that. I'll obviously film it. He said, come down, we'll walk around the orchard, drink some cider, I'll tell you all about it. It's going to be cool. I'll try and take some pictures, take some films, whatever. Anyway, more about that when it happens. But yeah, Spanish cider, really interesting. Really interesting. If you like traditional sort of Somerset ciders, you should get yourself some of this. And actually throwing it, get yourself one of these and try throwing it. It does make a difference. It's not just a gimmick. So there you go, guys. Thank you for joining me in my shed. I hope you join me again. But until that time, cheers.